Hello, everybody. This is Noel the Red. Sorry about that, having a bit of a technical issue there, but we seem to be okay. But we're here to talk about Mason Greenwood because it looks like after everybody was wondering why the club would come out with an announcement that the investigation was done and not actually just come out and tell us what their decision was. But Neil Custis from The Sun is reporting that Mason Greenwood is going to return to Manchester United after the Women's World Cup final. Also, there are conflicting reports out there because we've heard some reports saying that the women were okay with him coming back. But there are some reports out there that now suggest that that isn't actually true. Apparently, Mason Greenwood, according to some of the rumours out there, he's been added onto the WhatsApp chat that the United team have, the lads, the squad have. I just, I was watching a YouTube channel last night called the She Devils, and while they didn't speak about Mason Greenwood in the chat, there was obviously plenty of talk about Mason Greenwood. Look, I think this is a horrible decision by the club. I'm not going to lie. But there was a point made on the She Devils. Whatever this other evidence is, right? I think it's gonna have to be. I think Mason Greenwood, if he is innocent, then he's gonna have to come out and tell fans what really went on. Whether he wants to do it or not, because there's gonna be I'm telling you now. Right, I've watched a lot of reactions from a lot of Man United fan accounts, and also on Twitter. And while there is a minority that do support Mason Greenwood's reintegration back in the team, I would have to say the majority of fans don't want him back. Right. Now, when the club made that statement, of course, they did mention that there was other evidence that wasn't in the public domain. And I think it's going to be that evidence, whatever it is going to be key to whether Manchester United fans are going to accept Mason Greenwood back or not. And I think, it's gone past the time of Mason not opening his mouth. If he is genuinely an innocent man and something else has gone on here and there's evidence out there to back that up, we've got to see it. We've got to see it because, you're going to be booed. You're going to be booed in your own stadium. You're going to be booed in every away game. The manager and the captain are going to be asked about you all the time. Everybody is as well. We got to think of Mason Greenwood's mental health here, whether people think he's guilty or not, right? He's a young lad. This is a lot to take on his age. Of course, people will say it's justified because we've seen the images and we heard the audio, and it's not a pretty thing. It's not. But if there's evidence out there that exonerates this lad, well then the time for keeping it to yourself is over. You got to if they want Mason Greenwood back in the team because they truly believe he's an innocent man, well, then you've got to prove that to the fans, because there'd be nothing more the fans would want is for you to clear your name if you're an innocent man. Obviously, there's nothing more the fans want is for justice to be done as well, because there's an alleged victim out there, your partner. I just find the whole situation, again, clubs handled this wrong anyway. It just shows that we're not, and I said it the other day, and people can criticize me all they want. It's a fact. We're not a big club anymore. We act like a big club, right? We got the name Manchester United. We're living off that name right now under these Glazers. As I said, this isn't Manchester United. This is Glazers Manchester United, and everybody has to separate. This is not Manchester United anymore, right? They everything that they've done in this situation with the takeover, with transfers, is all the same, right? They do not have they do not have the qualities to do the job that they've been brought in to do, right? They're absolutely pathetic. They are. This Mason Greenwood situation should have been dealt with straight away. I understand that the club had to wait to find out what the police were doing, but after the police had come out with their statement and said what they said, the club should have been on this ASAP. But like everything else, as I said, they like to drag their heels through the mud, right? And this has gone on too long, right? And it's absolutely ripping the fans apart, right? It's absolutely ripping the fans apart. The amount of abuse that I've seen is unbelievable. And from both sides, right? I know there's a lot of anger out there because people think he's guilty. And to be honest with you, looking at the evidence, I'm at that ilk. I think he's guilty. But at the end of the day, as I've always said, like anybody accused of anything, there is a due process. Now the police haven't charged them for whatever reason, but apparently, and this has been talked about, you know, that there's other evidence out there. We heard this from actually day one when this whole thing broke. There were actually fan channels out there that were saying that there was more to this than meets the eye. And it is a weird situation because now he's back with his girl. They've had a baby together, right? They're living together. They're planning on getting married. I mean, it's a messed up situation. So there is something more to this. And I think all fans agree with that. There's more to this than meets the eye. But whatever that more, Mason, look, if Mason is innocent, there's no more beating around the bush anymore. He needs to come out, and apparently he's going to do a TV interview. But in that interview, he will need to explain everything. He will. Because if he goes on and does an interview, right, and nothing is asked of him, and he doesn't answer anything, then what's the point of the interview? If he's innocent, this is your time to clear your name, mate. Obviously, if you're not, you know, we will criticize the club for bringing you back because, you know, Manchester United, it's about, you know, it's a family. It's supposed to be about family and taking care of each other and stuff like that. And we've got moral values. But we're not acting like that. As I said, we act like us fans say we're a big club. We are with the fans that we have, but we're not a big club. We don't act like a big club because we're run by idiots that don't know how to run a club. That's the problem. It's absolutely a disaster, this. I just, again, it's the people that we have working in the club. I mean, I understand that he's had everything, he's had transfers and all to deal with, but a properly run club would have delegated, say, right, while I work on transfers, someone else work on the investigation into Mason Greenwood and get the transfers done and then get the investigation done ASAP. But no, they didn't do that. Seems to me what's happened is like with air transfers, we concentrate on one, we get one in, right? Then we work on the next one. And this is what seems to have happened here. They've tried to get the takeover done. So that's stalled a little bit. So the next item on the agenda was, right, let's start getting transfers in. And then, oh shit, yeah, we got to deal with the Mason Greenwood stuff. And that's the way it seems to us. Now, the club could have behaved completely differently back behind the scenes, and they have done a great job in investigating all of this. What I'm just going to say is, if you bring Mason Greenwood onto television and he doesn't have evidence to clear his name, don't bring him on television, because you're going to subject him and his partner to more aggro. Now, I don't understand why she got back with him. As I said, there's more to this than meets the eye. So, you know, again, the club is not. They said they'll say more in due course. Well, you will have to say a lot more in due course. But I will say this, you know, asking the women's football team their opinion is disgusting. I don't even have to speak for the women's football team, right? But I think we all know as fans what the women's football team answer would be. And you've put them in a horrible position, by the way, as well, the club have. Because they put that information out, right, to say they were consulting with all of these people, including the women's football team. And that, to me, was disgusting, because that was putting a target on their backs. Because what happened? Fanatics in their fandom on X went and started abusing female fans as well. Other female fans abusing female fans because they want Mason back and some others don't. Listen, you've got to understand, for a lot of women, especially those that have been through what we saw, right? For some women in their fandom, that's still a daily occurrence. And I don't think you realise that. This is a very triggering topic for women in our fandom. And we should be supporting them and understanding their point of view. But when the women put out that statement, all they got was nothing but abuse off people in this fandom. Even some men with sexist comments saying that they should stick to staying in the kitchen. Like, I mean, granted, some of those fans were Man United fans, there were other fans with other accounts, right? But the level of abuse these women were getting because they put out their statement. And then what I thought was more pathetic then was a group of men decided that they were going to put out their statement in support of Mason Greenwood. And that, to me, just signified and showed me why this needed to be dealt with ASAP all along. The fan base is getting more toxic every day. There are literally people turning on each other over this situation, just like the takeover and all of this, though. But this has really, listen, we don't need this, right? We don't. We're going into our second season under our manager. And, you know, we had a bit of a bad start against Wolves. I wasn't expecting that, but that was awful, right? So we have a long way to go. And I tipped us winning the Premier League. Listen, I still think if we get our act together and Ten Hag can crack the code in midfield, we'll be good. And once we get Højlund in that team and Rashford out on the left, I think we'll look a lot better, right? But we don't need this, especially with our manager. This is a very important season, right? And we've always said as fans, let's be honest, we've had a lot of players in the dressing room that have caused trouble over the years, right? And it's derailed their seasons, right? Because little cliques start forming and stuff, and then players won't. I even see it as well. You could see there was different cliques out on the pitch, because there were times where there were obvious passes to play to a certain player, but because a certain player didn't like that player too much, you wouldn't give the ball to that player. It's happened. And we don't need that. This is a very important season for our manager, right? And for us to prove that last season wasn't a once-off, right? And the fact that City won a treble, and they've also, obviously, I didn't watch it because I was live actually. They won the bloody Super Cup. So we don't need this. We don't need this baggage. But as I said, and I will say this, and I'll add a caveat here, right? I do believe, this is my stance now, right now. I do, and I have always believed that Mason Greenwood is a piece of shit because of what I saw, right? Now, if there's evidence, like the club is saying, if there's evidence that sheds a whole new light on this and it's a completely different story, well, then for me, I can tell you for me, and I know I'll be speaking for a lot of fans when I say this, right? Not saying I'll speak for all fans, I'll be speaking for a lot of fans when I say this, is that, well, for us to be able to accept Mason Greenwood back, we got to see that other evidence sheds a new light on all of this and proves that Mason Greenwood is not a scumbag. And that's the bottom line, folks. Look, you know, that young fella had the world at his feet. He was fast becoming one of our greatest players. No word of a lie. I think he had everything. And you know what pisses me off, right? I've watched young players come and go, Man United. You know, I'm supporting United since Ron Atkinson. As I said, it was near the end of the Ron Atkinson reign, though, because I was only a young kid, but I remember it. And I remember when Sir Alex came in for the first time. But I've seen young talent come and go at United, and he was potentially the best academy player that we've had in a couple of decades. Not a word of a lie. He's that good, or he was that good. Now, can he recover for being out that long? I don't know. I don't know if he'd ever be the same player again, to be quite honest, and that's another factor as well. But again, we got to see, look, if the lad is innocent, I want him to prove his innocence. Because we've seen in our society lately that men get accused of stuff, right? And it turns out that they didn't do what they're accused of. So if this is another case of this, or there's something else completely different that's went on here, and there's evidence to prove that that young lad is innocent, show me. You show me and you show the fans out there that have their doubts. And then, listen, there'll be loads of YouTube channels that'll have to do apologies, and they will. Nobody likes to see anybody's life being destroyed, right? His girlfriend's or his. But you're going to have to do something, because I know the women in this fandom, and rightly so, and myself included, you know, you got to give us something shows that there's more to this, because he can't just come back in and think that he could just come back in. Listen, he's going to have an awful time, right? And I'm being honest. I'm being honest, and I said this, not a word of a lie. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but if he scored a last minute winner, and I mean literally a last minute winner, I won't celebrate. I actually won't celebrate. Do you know how hard that is not to celebrate a goal, by the way? It's very hard. But I won't celebrate, man. I will not celebrate if he's guilty as hell. Why would you? Why? Look at guys. I know a lot of fans out there, and I'm appealing to you guys out there, right, that want Mason back in the team. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they show the evidence, and then this could be a totally different conversation, right? But ask yourselves this, right? Say it was your sister. or your mother, right? Or your auntie. Anybody close to you that's female, right? And think about it. You see that person every day, and people are saying, oh, give them a second chance. They're young, they made a mistake. Can you honestly say that you'd be able to sit there and agree with that assumption? I don't think so. If you had any morals, that was a family member, a daughter, a girlfriend, a wife, a granny, and someone did that to your loved one. I don't think you would be saying, oh, we all make mistakes, give them a second chance. I don't think you would. And that's the way you have to look at this. So, what I would say to you fans that want Mason Greenwood back, look, I'm not going to have a go at you because there's no point. It's not going to work with you guys. That doesn't work. So, I'll try and appeal to you as our good nature and just say this. Demand that the club show this evidence that sheds a new light on this thing and proves that Mason Greenwood may be innocent. Right? If you are so keen on wanting him back, wouldn't you want him to clear his name so he can come back with a clean slate and then he wouldn't have any baggage over him? Why don't you Greenwood fans, the ones that want him back, demand that the club release it? So he can also stick it to fans like us that don't want him back because we believe he's a scumbag. Right? Now, if he's not a scumbag, but then why don't you tell the club to show that evidence that sheds a new light on this? Because in the statement they said there is evidence that's not in the public, right? And witnesses that were spoken to that shed a new light on this whole situation. So if that's the case, and you guys want him back in the team and you believe he's innocent, why don't you demand the club back you up and release that information? If they have to cover out people's names, right, to protect certain identities, that's fine. But show us something that exonerates that young man so he could be integrated back into the squad again, right? And then happy days, right? Because a lot of yous out there that support Mason Greenwood, unfortunately, yous are only thinking about it from a football point of view. Yous are not looking at the heartache and the absolute triggering effect that will have when women are watching Mason Greenwood on a pitch that have gone through what we saw was shown publicly, right? You're going to trigger a lot of them, right? And it's going to re-traumatize a lot of women out there. And this is why I think you should, guys, you have to wise up here, right? I get it. He's want United to do well. He would literally stamp over his own granny to get United to the top. But come on, where's your morality? Where's your morals? Where's your integrity? Demand the club show the evidence that backs Mason Greenwood up, and then, of course, as I said, then everybody will come out if he's innocent. Everybody that jumped the gun and did their videos and their streams and made their comments will apologize, me included. But I got to see that. I've got to see this new evidence. I've got to see something. And the club did say that they will let us know why they came to the decision. So that makes me believe that we'll get something, but it better be something of substance, because the one criticism of the statement yesterday is that there was no point for this statement. You could have waited a couple of days and then made the whole statement, including why you came to the decision, right? So you tell everybody that, yeah, you spent months talking to people, blah, 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 and then underneath, this is why we're reinstating, or this is why we're getting rid of Mason Greenwood. You didn't need to do this statement yesterday. And this is what I'm saying. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then straight after the statement, a couple of hours later, Neil Custis from The Sun coming out saying that Mason Greenwood will be integrated back into the squad and the announcement will be made after the Women's World Cup final. And that's Tuesday. So why not wait till Tuesday and then make your stupid fucking statement? Now you've upset all people in the fandom again because everybody's fighting with each other, whatever side they're on. And as I said, I'm not fighting with anybody. If you want Mason Greenwood to come back, all I would say to you guys is that if you do believe he's innocent, then you need to be putting pressure on the club to make sure that that is actually proven. Because there'll be fans out there. And listen, as I said, forget about our own fans, right? He goes to away games. I mean, what's Eric Ten Hag going to do? Not bring him to away games to protect him? Because that's what he's going to have to do. He's not going to be able to walk into an away stadium. And then if he comes on, every time he comes on and touches the ball, this is why this club, that I hope they know what they're doing. I don't think they do because they've handled everything shit. But I hope they know what they're doing in this situation. And I hope they do release something that exonerates this lad, because if they don't, number one, the club is going to look foolish. Number two, people are just going to, you know, as I said, you're going to trigger a lot of people. It's a sad situation, but it's a weird one, as I said, because, you know, as I said, they've gotten back together. They've had a baby. They're living together. Apparently, they're happy now and stuff. Like, there is a lot. All Man United fans have said the same thing, though. There is a lot more to this than meets the eye. And we will say that. But what is the more to this? And that's the question. Now, do the club and Mason Greenwood actually have the will to show us? Because at this stage, as I said, you know, speaking directly to Mason, which I know he won't be watching, but if I could speak directly to Mason, I'm going to just say it to you out straight, mate, is nobody's going to believe what you say if you don't have anything to back up your claims. And see, the problem that we have here right now is in the public domain, we have Harriet's side of it. Right? So we've seen that side. Right? So we've seen some evidence on that side. So you're going to have to produce your evidence. I don't know what evidence you would have to actually defend that. But if this wasn't you, and this was someone else, and out of anger you were blamed for it, whether you want to throw, again, as I said to people, he's not going to throw the mother of his child under a bus either if something awry has gone here. Just being honest, this situation's fucked. I don't see how Mason comes out of this smelling of roses. I don't know how the club comes out of this smelling of roses. I really do hope the club know what they're doing. I really do. This is awful. It's awful. You know, life is funny. It throws these curveballs at you, you know. But you know, our club will be defined, and it will be, by the way. Just in case, listen, I'm around a long time, so for all you younger fans that don't realise this, I'm just going to tell you, right, from supporting this club for over 40 years, let's just tell you this, right? We will be defined by this decision, and people will look upon us differently, and they will, if we get this wrong. And I don't think younger fans realise the repercussions of that. This club has a rich history. It has a tragic history, as you all know. But from that tragedy was the defining moment of our club's history. And how we dealt with it afterwards, right? As Jimmy Murphy, said he picked up the pieces. And without him there, we wouldn't be sitting here today talking about Manchester United. Okay? But since then, when that Munich air disaster happened, not just in the UK, not just in Manchester, but around the world, they mourned that team. They mourned everybody that died, right? Because Manchester United was loved, right? It set itself apart from other clubs. It was family orientated. It had morals. It had integrity. It had all of that. And, even when we start getting commercial under the Alex Ferguson reign, or so Alex's reign, we never lost that because we had a manager that had those values. And a lot of players, ex-players, you hear them, they talk about that Ferguson would be interested in their lives, their family, that's the type of man he was. But, we've always seemed to maintain a level where we're better than everybody else. Even during the pandemic, United were praised for the stuff that they did over the pandemic, but for example, still paying the wages of their staff and all of that during the pandemic, right? And they didn't take the government assistance or something like that. So they were praised for that and stuff like that, right? So we've kind of kept it going. Not as much back in the day because we really valued that a lot. But if we get this decision wrong, you can forget about all of that, and that'll have an impact on how we're looked at around the world. Everybody looked to Manchester United. That's why we're the big club. It's not just about the supporters, right? It's about how we do it at Manchester United. And at Manchester United, we were the level of excellence. Obviously, under the Glazers, that has eroded, and it has. We all know that. But we had a level, right? We get this wrong, this will have an impact on us. It'll actually have an impact on future players that want to sign for us. And you might actually think that's a joke, but it's not. Some players and some of their families, especially if their son is a great footballer, it's the family environment around the club, how the club is viewed as well. That affects a decision a player has when they come to join a football club. It's not always about money. More so, I'd say more so in the modern game, yes. But there's still that level of, for example, look at all the players that have turned down Liverpool. One of them is turned down Liverpool because they want to come to United. Because it's still viewed, So this will have repercussions. And the younger fans don't understand this, and they never will. And I'm not having a go at you or anything. You're just born in a different era. But, us older fans still value those things. And those things to us actually make Manchester United. Right? That's the heart and soul of the club. Right? And that's what makes our club so great. And makes us stand out above the rest. Because we used to have this level of excellence, integrity, moral belief, family values. All of that will be thrown out the window if Mason Greenwood is integrated back into the squad. Now, in saying that, if he's able to clear his name, then it's a different scenario altogether. Then we don't lose any of that. But the way we've handled the situation proves that we're still incompetent with the people that we have running this club, right? So there'll still be fucking negatives there, either way. But let's hope it's not as it has that impact that I said, because to us, those values is what makes this club, and that's important to us. It's important to us, not just about winning things. Yeah, we all win. Trust me, there's nothing more I would love to see us win the Premier League. I think we're getting closer. But I want to see us lift that trophy again, because I was around the time where we lifted it quite a lot, right? So I have been spoiled. But it'd be nice for our younger fans, the ones that want this glory, to feel what we felt. Because I think once they do, well, I hope, they might settle down a little bit and realise and then understand what this, sorry, I keep forgetting the camera is reversed, what this badge is all about, because it's more than just the players that play on the pitch. It's more than just the manager. It's more than just the people that work at the club. It's a lot more. It's a big community. It's a family. It's got, as I said, the morals, the integrity, and it's what makes us. And I don't want us to lose that. I really don't. Other clubs do lose that, and it's a shame. You see it. It's a shame because you could kind of feel it. The club becomes a cold environment, and it translates out onto the pitch. It's not good. This should have been dealt with months ago, though. We shouldn't still be sitting here with the start of the season. I mean, come on. I think you can all agree, though, with me here, right? I mean, we're about to play Spurs the weekend, the second game, right? In fairness, we shouldn't have been going into the second game of the season with this hanging over our heads, right? But it is. So, I'm going to say it, like every fan has said it, there are two bids there, Joel and Avram. I don't care which bid you take at this stage. I actually really don't. I don't give a shit. I just want them gone. I just want them gone, right? That's where I am. I just want them gone. So, the rumor is Sheikh Jazim has offered you a substantial bid, right? On behalf of all Manchester United fans, could you do us a favour, right? And do the right thing and just take the offer and get the fuck out of here so we can actually move on and become the club that we were back in the past. Because, you've got idiots running the club. Idiots running the club. And you can't even, I don't even know. Look, I'm actually going to say this. How that family has ever made money. How that family has ever gotten into business is beyond me, right? Because they've ran this club into the ground, right? This is a business, by the way. So, right, they're supposed to be businessmen, right? And the biggest asset in English football, they've ran into the ground. How the fuck are they even getting business deals? Is beyond me. How that them family? Their dad must have been a bloody genius, or whatever it was that made him rich in the first place. But whatever, I just cannot, because they come across. Seriously, they don't come across as very intelligent men. And for some reason, they make billions. Jesus Christ, they should have. You know what? The UK government has a lot to answer for anyway. They should never have allowed the takeover to happen when it did. Um, and we knew it was coming, by the way. You know, every time you read the financial news, you're reading every day that the Malcolm Glazer was up in his stake in Manchester United slowly but surely, and then he bought a major stake, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And even then, fans knew, and those fans were right. And this is why I say, it's time for fans now to get serious, because the protests outside are not working. The protests outside the megastore are not working. And I know you can't stop fans from buying jerseys. I'm sorry, but you can't. I think that's ridiculous anyway, when you only get 10% of the money anyway. And the jerseys that sold out anyway, even before they went on sale, because the pre-orders. So you can't look. You can't stop fans. The only thing you can do, right, is what I said yesterday. You got to empty Old Trafford. Simple as that. Now, obviously, you can't expect those that go on a day trip or come from different countries to do it. But the season ticket holders and the people that are there every second week or whenever it is, right, whenever there's a home game, they walk out. Simple as that. Even them walking out would leave a big gap in the stadium. Imagine doing that against Liverpool. Imagine doing that against Manchester City. Imagine now doing it against Newcastle, because Newcastle is a big game all of a sudden again. Doing it against Arsenal. Doing it against Chelsea. Right? You got to embarrass the Glazers now. Right? Because nothing else works. Right? Because they have actually... I remember this now. The media have said a lot. But I remember reading a report, and a few channels actually covered it. I hadn't even started at the time. But I remember there was a news report out there, media outlet, I don't know what, I think it was the Mirror, that said, oh, the Glazers don't care if the fans protest or if this takeover is delayed, because they're over in America, folks. They don't give a flying fuck. They don't care. They're shielded in America, right? They don't care if you're protesting outside Old Trafford. And while the protests outside are a little bit embarrassing because of the media that it gets, but what would be more embarrassing for the Glazers is they're sitting down watching. Well, they're probably not even watching us, by the way, but they're sitting at home. They start getting phone calls. This is Sky News. We just want to ask you, how do you feel about all the Manchester United fans walking out of Old Trafford tonight? They'll be fucking embarrassed. That'll be shown worldwide. Even do it during the Champions League fucking game, home game. Just walk out the side. All the fans that are over there, just the fan groups, just get together and decide on a minute for everybody to fucking walk out of that stadium and fucking walk out. It's no other way is going to embarrass them, right? And we can't get matches stopped like you did the last time with Manchester United and Liverpool, because you see what happened. The club got fined, right? So we don't want the club to get fined. But you's walking out of the stadium. You won't get fined for walking out of the stadium, by the way, right? You walk out of the stadium, you have a protest, and you just don't go fucking back in. It's simple as that. You just these are protests until even the end of the match or whatever, how long you feel you need to be there for, and stand outside. And that's how you embarrass the club, especially during a Champions League game where it's going to be shown worldwide, right? You walk out. Only way. You got to embarrass these, boycotting them, not buying their products. They don't care, lads, right? They want the money that they want for the club. Until they get that, they don't give a crap. They don't give a crap. They'll spend the bare minimum as well. They'll hang on, spend the bare minimum to give their manager. Now, whether Ten Hag will accept that and play along with that for too long. I don't know, but that's what they'll do. They'll dig their heels in, right? They're not. They're not going to leave until they get what they want. It's as simple as that. And it's a shame because we just want you to fuck off now. You know what? You shouldn't have announced. See, this is the thing again. Again, the club, they had to announce, didn't they? They could have done this all quietly. Like, there would have been rumors circulating for months, and we'd be all thinking, are they really selling? But the fact that they just fucking announced it in November, we're still here. Like, think about it. It's August now. September, October, November. We're 3 months away from it being a year. Anyway, before I do go, because the last time I left, while I was straight, as I was leaving yesterday, obviously the news came up about Mason Greenwood because we were talking about Harry Maguire. So before we go, I'm just gonna see if there's any news in relation to us before I leave. Right, so obviously the rumours about Amrabat. Apparently, Man United and Liverpool called again this week to be informed about Ryan Gravenberch situation, but it's understood Bayern are not selling. Oh, it's Tyrell Malacia's birthday today. He's 24, so happy birthday. Um, See, it's this kind of nonsense here. I won't read from what account it's from. But to those saying Mason Greenwood out, if you don't like the decision made by Manchester United, get another club to support. Mason Greenwood did a mistake, yes, but doing a mistake once is not bad. Repeating the same mistake is a sin. Well, he did, because if you think for one moment that that didn't happen before, just because there was no photos posted, then you are clearly naive and fucking idiots. What you may not know is that abusers are normally not a once-off. It's a thing of habit. Okay, so for anybody saying it was one mistake, she posted different photographs up, by the way. So it wasn't one time, you fucking dopes. It was a few times. And this is why I'm saying this club better have a very good explanation to why all of a sudden they're saying that he's innocent. Because that's basically what they're saying. But this is the type of shit that you're getting in this fandom, right? It wasn't one mistake. So don't be belittling what happened here, right? I'm glad I actually checked that before I left. The one little mistake. It wasn't one mistake, right? You can clearly see from the photos that it's different images as well, by the way. Right? It's not all the same night, the same photograph, right? It's different injuries on different parts of our body on different times. At different times, I should say. So no, it wasn't a once-off mistake and he should be forgiven, right? Bloody hell. People in this fucking in their fandom are absolutely idiots. Right? Absolute idiots. Don't be talking absolute rubbish. And this is why I'm saying the club better have something that backs Mason Greenwood up, because I'm telling you, this is not gonna go the way you think it's gonna go. He will be forced out whether yous like it or not, because this is what will happen if he comes back and there's not a proper explanation. I can tell you now that he'll be forced out by our fans, and he will be forced out. right? And the club will make that decision because he will be forced out. If you think it won't happen, it will happen. Anyway, enough of me having a rant about him. I'm gonna go off now and get ready and prepped for. I've already got the stream up for the Spurs game. So you know, if you want to set your notifications for that, please do. But it's their first away game, Spurs versus Manchester United, and we will be doing live match reaction. I wonder if we're going to be wearing this jersey or we're going to be wearing this jersey. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, right, for all you naysayers out there about this jersey, go out and buy it because it is the fucking best jersey that we actually have. Okay, it's absolutely stunning, and it is white. It's not off white like people were suggesting. It is white. It's got the red devil there. I know some have said, "Oh, it looks like the old Liverpool jersey," but what you don't realise is this is actually a homage to a Manchester United jersey, not a Liverpool jersey. Even this one is a homage to a jersey that we had in 1900 bloody something. It was the 1900s, and the red one as well is a homage to a jersey that we had, as you know, in the night. And there's the red jersey there, which is I've seen me wear. By the way, these are not all none of these are knockoffs. These are all the proper jerseys. I don't. This is what I said, lads. Don't don't feel bad about buying a Manchester United jersey because at the end of the day, the Glazers are not going to go until they get what they think the club is worth. And it doesn't matter whether you buy jerseys or not. It doesn't matter whether you protest outside or not. That's what I said. You have to embarrass the Glazers now, right? It's gone beyond all of those things, boycotts and all of that shit. You go into the stadium, big Champions League night, right? The crowd is there. You say, right, after 20 minutes or whatever, or even at half time, just don't come back at half time. Stand outside the stadium, the whole lot is bang. They go back then live, and then the stadium is half empty. It would be fucking embarrassing. Embarrassing. So yeah, we'll see which jersey they wear, but I've got all three. So absolutely deadly. The green jersey, this jersey I have to be honest, right? Obviously we saw it and a lot of people been complaining about it. It is nice. I got to say, even the back is nice. You'd have to probably put a number on the back of it, whatever. But it is nice. But if say you're a small or a medium or a large in it, right? It fits differently to the other jerseys. Do you remember the grey jersey, the dark grey jersey that they had? They said it was from. They made a big deal out of it because it was made out of recycled plastic or something. The jersey, do you remember? The dark jersey, right? That one is the same as this. If you're a large, you need to get an extra large. If you're a medium, you need to get a large because it doesn't fit like the. So, say for example, you're small in the red, right? It's small in this one. It's going to be a little bit more tighter, so you've got to get a size extra. You know what I mean? So size up. And the white jersey is the same as the red. So for this jersey, you have to get a size above. So for example, the my home jersey and the third kit is large, and this one is extra large, and that's what you have to get this the proper fit for this one. This one is just a little bit tighter because the fabric as well is actually different uh, to the third jersey as well. Um, and again, as I said, even the back of the folks. I don't know if you've seen the back of it, but this is the back of the white jersey, and then you've got the Manchester United symbol there, and then there's the front. So look, as I said, I got one as a birthday present. Well, actually, the one was a birthday present, but the other two officially are well, there's birthday presents apparently and Christmas. So yeah, from the missus. So um that's where that is. But I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I got the three jerseys and I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? People can criticize all they want. They're not going to tell me what not to buy a jersey. You know? Do you know what? I haven't bought one for a few seasons, right? So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I did my bit. It wasn't getting anywhere. And I came to the realization that anyway, the Glazers are not going to leave until they get what they think the club is worth. And apparently, if the Cardiff chairman's to be believed, they think the club is worth 7 billion, which in no fucking reality is Manchester United worth 7 billion. But apparently, this is what these snakes want: 7 billion. Anyway, we'll leave it there because I don't think there is any other news of note. But as I said, don't forget to join me on Saturday. We will be doing Eric Ten Hag's press conference in the early afternoon. I like to do it on match days because it's a bit more fresher in people's minds. So I do take notes for that. Some of the key points, and then I'll come on and give you a reaction to Eric Ten Hag's press conference. And then later on, from 5 o'clock in the evening, 5 p.m. UK time for all you guys out there that live in the UK and Ireland, same time. We start at 5-4 Manchester, well, Spurs, because we're away, Spurs versus Manchester United. We'll have the team news and all of that. We'll be discussing the team, and we'll be obviously talking during the build-up. Obviously, to do an interview with Eric Ten Hag there as well. Be interested to see what he has to say, because the Wolves game was dire. So let's see if there's going to be any improvement. So yeah, come and join me while I react. Obviously, we won't be showing the match here. It's a match reaction, so I'll be here on screen reacting while I'm watching the match, which will be fun because we did pre-season. We did all the pre-season. All of the pre-season games are in their own little playlist there. So it'll give you an idea of what it's kind of like if you want to know. And I want to thank everybody that has subscribed. We reached the 50 subscriber mark. Yay! But no, seriously, we've reached the 50 subscriber mark, and I'm chuffed about that. So I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel and that is supporting the channel. I'm just going to tell you though, I'm not going to beat around the bush on this channel. I'm going to be, you know, out straight with you guys when it comes to my opinions. And obviously, as I said, as we get a little bit bigger, if we do get a little bit bigger, I'll bring on some of you people that support me and get user opinion on Manchester United, the current state of the team, and all of that. And that's what I hope to do in the future. So keep supporting the channel. Please let people know about the channel as well. If you do like this channel, you like what I have to say, please let other Manchester United fans know out there about the channel, because I think word of mouth will actually help this channel as well. So appreciate that if you could do that as well. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy your weekend, because it's coming up, obviously, Friday tomorrow. So enjoy your weekend. I will obviously be with you over the weekend. So come and join me for our Eric Ten Hag press conference and obviously the live match. And we'll see you then. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you like the new intro. I actually, you know, I'm not the best at editing things together or like that, or putting fancy stuff on it, but I was able to put this together myself. So, of course, the new logo. Just want to give a shout out to Chris Persia, who I know from other stuff that I do. He actually put this logo together for us and branded the channel properly. So I want to thank him for doing that. I really do appreciate it. And of course, you'll see his branding in this little trailer now that I'm about to play. So Thank you, everybody, for the support. I'll talk to you very soon. Have a good one. Good evening.
I said,